Now, a plane carrying 49 white South Africans will be landing at Washington's Dulles Airport today. The individuals have been granted refugee status after they were deemed victims of racial discrimination under an offer from the U.S. President Donald Trump. While the United States has blocked most non-white refugee admissions from the rest of the world, but it is prioritizing Afrikaners, the descendants of mostly Dutch settlers. South Africa's foreign minister, meanwhile, has told local media that the group are not refugees, but the government wasn't going to stand in their way. Now, just to remind you of our top story, and that's Hamas, which is due to release the last remaining American-Israeli hostage this Monday. The announcement of Edan Alexander's impending transfer was also made by the U.S. President Donald Trump. The 21-year-old was doing his military service in Israel when he was taken from an outpost near the Gaza border during the Hamas attacks on the 7th of October. For more on this story, we can go across to our correspondent, Noga Tarnopolsky, standing by. Noga, what's the latest where you are?
Hello, good afternoon. The latest where I am is that the mother of this IDF soldier, Edan Alexander, has been taken down south to the staging ground in military helicopters, but her son is not expected to be released for at least another 2 hours, to the best of my understanding. There's been a bit of a chaos in the, public diplomacy of Hamas, if we can call it that today, with different announcements about different schedules. But it appears that it should be in about 2 hours. And it's remarkable and important to say the state of Israel had absolutely nothing to do with the release of its own captive soldier.
So the state of Israel was not involved. So who was talking to Hamas? Was it the U.S. directly with Qatar?
It was the U.S. directly with Hamas, which is obviously against American law that prescribes contact with terror organizations. But the Trump administration has decided to overlook those practices. And for Donald Trump, apparently this victory picture with the freed Israeli-American hostage has been so important that they were willing to speak and make a deal with Hamas. And Hamas has said openly that they hope this gesture towards Donald Trump will persuade him to pressure Israel to accept a ceasefire and end the war, while Hamas, in its fundamental structures, remains intact in Gaza.
Noga, what are families of other Israeli hostages saying, about this hostage release? Because their loved ones, the ones that are alive, remain in Gaza, and there's no traction or, of a hostage deal.
That's exactly right. There are other soldiers who were taken captive exactly in the way Edan Alexander was, but don't have foreign passports. And we've been hearing from their parents. They're also civilians, by the way. The majority are civilians. We've been hearing from these families in a, I would say, shattering way during the course of the day. Vicky Cohen, the mother of a soldier, Nimrod Cohen, said that, her son was born in Israel and has just an Israeli passport and has been betrayed and forsaken by his government. They're saying this in a way that's very directed towards families whose young children, boys and girls at age 18, are facing draft notices. Einav Tsangauker, the mother of hostage Matan Tsangauker, a civilian who was taken, said that the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, is her own private angel of death. He was being held in tunnels 40 meters underground alongside Edan Alexander. To the best of her knowledge, her son is now alone, and she said that this is a death sentence for him.
Noga, we'll be coming back to you once we have news of Edan's eventual release from Hamas captivity in Gaza. Thank you very much for that, Noga. Noga reporting there from Jerusalem.